patience.
Welcome back to another episode of Life in All Directions. This is the space where we talk real about life, family, growth, culture, everything that comes along with it. I'm your host, Dante Street, and with me today is my man that's going to be bringing some energy in the hip-hop world. My guest is a brother who is building something special. He's got his own podcast coming out right now, or that is out right now, actually, the No Patience podcast. Without a doubt, a real man who is raw, real, with a lot of heart. STAYYY. What's up, my man? How are you?
Oh, man.
Definitely
glad to collaborate again with you, brother.
Absolutely, man. It is really great to have you back. And
that first video we did together, I believe, was my first video ever.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was just kind of like just right off the rip, right? And just kind of being able to connect with you, right? Like we actually met in a single dads group and on Facebook, and somehow just connected, started talking about podcasts, you know what I mean? It's just started kind of spinning some ideas off each other, and just one normal Tuesday night, if you will, kind of just jumped on and just started talking and just having a good conversation, man. And I think that's really one of the great things, if you're able to benefit from social media with that, is being able to build new connections and meet good people in the world, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that we connected, man, and I definitely am happy to have you here. And my man, this is completely left to right coast, right? You being from the East, North New Jersey in the house, and me being from the Bay Area, not too far outside, actually. Excuse me. I actually grew up in Napa Valley, so a little bit of the wine country, you know what I mean, I got in me, but I definitely have the Bay Area roots and ties. But everything, man, that you get to do, right? From balancing a podcast to fatherhood, you know what I mean, to work, to just life, and definitely life will teach us on going in all different types of directions. And that's kind of what brought me here with this show. And I'm, again, really thankful for having you here and, just joining us tonight, man. Like, it's awesome. But yeah, tell us a little bit about you, man. What do we got going on, man? What's going on with the podcast? Where are we at with that?
Right, man. Well, first, let me tell everybody who don't know how the podcast even came about. You know what I mean? So I got certified to do data science or whatever. And then in the midst of that, they want you to do presentations and so on and so forth. And I wasn't always the best on camera, a little camera shy and all that. So I actually started streaming. It wasn't even about a podcast first. It was about
Right.
streaming. And they follow me on Twitch. That's STAYYY. And I know a lot of people. I got the gift of gab. I like to talk. I like to connect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like in a group, the same way I connected with you. I like to connect. I like to connect with people. I like to chat. I like to talk about real life topics and bring awareness and stuff like that. I thought beyond streaming, started a podcast.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean,
Like I
being
said,
from Jersey
Street was one of my first. Sorry to cut you off. Dante Street was
no,
one
you're
of my very first videos that I did. Him and one of my brothers. I actually learned a lot from him. All I knew about was a little bit of editing before I met him, and that day I learned a lot. He turned me up. Look, I am where I am right now.
Well, man, I'm like truly humbled by your words, man. Like, I just, if I can share my knowledge with people, man, I'm all for it. And, I think that the more that you can share with the rest of the world or the public, you know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why I kind of started my podcast as well, is just to kind of get out there and just kind of put your voice out there. But I mean, it's safe to say, like, I'm camera shy too, you know what I mean? you know, people I always say talk a good game, right? But once that camera turns around and turns on, like you get, you know, you get puckered up real fast. You know what I mean? You know, and but I think
Yeah.
that's because a lot of us are self-conscious, right? Like we start thinking about what, you know, what am I going to look like on camera? What are other people going to say about me on camera, right? Like I'm a big dude, man, so I'm like, man, the internet's going to come for me. Like they're going to come, you know what I mean? And then they're going to be like, what's your big beige ass doing on talking about this and that? And but when you start realizing a lot of things, though, when it comes to like even just starting a podcast or starting your content or whatever you want to do, like you'll be surprised on how many people don't give a fuck. Like you'd be surprised. Like all the people you think that give a shit do not. And the other part, I don't know if you notice this, right? But this is one of the things I noticed. Like, like when you start your first episode, right? When you put that first episode out, and you got all your friends, everybody seeing it on Facebook. Was that?
You good?
I don't know how that just happened. Anyway, something started playing in my ear. Anyways,
Oh.
um, what I was going to say was when you first start that. What I'm saying is when you first start that podcast and you launch that first episode, and all your friends on social media are like, "Oh, this is so cool! That's so exciting! I'm so excited for you!" And they're all pumped up, and I'm gonna watch every episode you do. No, they don't. No, they will fall off by like episode 2 or 3. And but it's not what I've realized though is it's not your friends that are reaching out to you just about your content. It's when you touch somebody unknown, like and pause, not like that. But when you are able to reach out to somebody and kind of grasp their mind or grasp them being able to relate to your content, I think that for me, that's the big reward, right? Like when you can reach out to somebody and somebody sends you a message, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like I really needed to hear that message today. I really needed to hear what you had to say. Like for me, that's the biggest thing for me that like kind of gets me excited and just being able to help like one person. But, you know, again, like, you know, you're interviewing like a lot of underground artists, right? What have you taken from that in regards to like where things are at with the music industry and underground artists to where that you see that you know, like it's a lot different, right? Like dudes ain't selling tapes out the back of the truck no more. You know what I mean? So what are you seeing with them in regards to how they have to now get their music out?
I actually, that's a question. I get them that question. Like, you know what I mean? Do they feel like, I'll just ask it in a different way. Like, because, you know, back in the day, that's how it was. You sold music out the back of your truck. You know what I mean? You had to get a label, or you know what I mean, your promotion wasn't gonna be that good. You pretty much needed a label to get yourself out there. In today's world, it's not really like that. You more so being forced to gravitate towards like solo promotion. Like that's probably a better route. You know what I mean? And we're not selling CDs, but you gotta promote your music through like Spotify and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The same way I promote my videos. I'll tag my video up under somebody else's video. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So however you gotta do to promote it, you gotta promote it. But that's definitely how it's going back, you know. But
Yeah, so you're selling the stream basically, right?
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's yeah, and that's the thing too when I look at, right? Like you got to think when you're selling the stream, like you got to make sure that you're available on all platforms, right? Because one person may use Apple Music, another person may use Spotify. You know what I mean? Like I have both, but I use my Apple Music more just because I get auto debited for it every month and I just haven't stopped it. So I just, you know, that's kind of the thing that I've been using. But you know, also that YouTube, right? Like I seen one of the peoples I know from Napa Valley, cousin Feek, you know what I mean? He gets down with E40 and them, right? Like E40 signed him, he's signed with Sick with it. Man, like just seeing how many streams he got with that new video he got, and like over 5 million views. You know what I mean for that thing in video, and you know, shout out to Feek, man. Like you doing your thing, bro. Like keep going. And but yeah, you see these, you know, you see artists now. It's like the streams, and I mean a lot TikTok, right? Like you know what I mean. I've seen a lot of people like have to that get blown up through TikTok. You know, but let me ask you this though. Do you think we'll ever see? Because you're from the East, right? So you got a lot of groups that came out from the East that like I really love. Like I'm a big D fan, you know what I mean? Like even going back further, like Public Enemy, you know what I mean? The Furious Five, like however far back, you know what I mean? I'm old school man, but you know, Black Sheep, you know what I mean? All of these people from the East Coast. I guess my question is, do you ever think that we will see rap groups again? Like we ain't gonna I just don't think we're gonna see the Locks, you know what I mean? Something like that. I just think I just don't see a lot of rap groups happening. You don't see R&B groups happening no more. Like everybody's about the solo mission. Do you think that people would be able to benefit more from being in a group or being solo?
You know Kyle Richards and Jen Carter.
I
They
don't.
little
You're gonna have to put
yes
me on.
yeah they it's a couple rap groups that's starting to get right, but they I guess it depends on they sound. You know what I mean? Because just like you said, it's not that many, and everybody like to hear something different. And because it's not that many, like if rap groups start coming back out and they all got a different sound that you want to hear, shout out to my man Booski. I just interviewed my man Booski, and he got a team. And if you listen to some of his music, like well, some of their music, like they all fire, and they all got a different sound. You know what I mean? So I believe that they going like they a rap group that's gonna make it big. Again, shout out to my man Booski. Yeah, man. I think it depends on the sound that they have.
Yeah.
If every one of them got something different to offer, it's like having a feature all the time. Like you know what I mean? Like you can't go wrong with it. They just gotta be dope.
Who would be your Mount Rushmore of, let's just say rap groups, you know what I mean? Like whether it be the Locks, the Migos, like who would be like your Mount Rushmore, your top five?
Like a rap groups or like one person.
You could, I would say, I mean, if you want to do your top five rappers from the East Coast, I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'm thinking, I mean, I know who mine are from the East, you know what I mean? And I think they're probably going to differ a lot from yours, but it'd be interesting to see.
Now I'm saying you want like you asking like groups all together or like
You could
one
just say,
single
I'll
person.
just say, you could just say your top five hip hop artists from the East Coast, like all
It
time
gotta be East
from
Coast. It
back
can't be
then.
like
Yeah, because we're gonna do an East and a West.
East Coast. Oh, damn shit.
Yeah,
Just
so
from
we
the
could look
East
at the
Coast
East and the
alone.
West.
Just from the East Coast alone. Chinks Drugs, French Montana, Jay-Z.
French is in there.
Who?
Unforgivable French, huh?
Yeah, French Montana for sure. French Montana. Coke Boys. You gotta dive deep into the Coke Boys. But Chinks, you know who Chinks Drugs is?
I don't, man. I'm my hip
Yes,
hop
you
roots
gotta
have not
dive
gone as
deep.
deep as they used to.
You gotta dive
Um,
deep.
all right, so
Chinks
we got
Drugs, French
French.
Montana, Jay-Z, 50. You said from the East Coast.
Yeah, just your East
50,
Coast.
50 and DMX.
I think I would go Big, Jay Z, Big L. To me, Big L was like one of the best punchline rappers ever. Um, I think you gotta. I mean, I don't want to have to just say like you gotta throw Nas in there, but I was never a huge Nas fan, man. Like I think he made great music, and I think he was a hell of a fucking hip hop artist, but it just wasn't. It never like really. I mean, there was maybe a few tracks that like really. Nas I Am, that one really stuck out to me, but who else? I mean, I think you got to throw Jay Z in there, you know, and um, man, you know, I got to throw some of my old school in there, man. I'd have to throw like to me like Big Daddy Kane. You know, I could. I'm old school, bro. Like I love my old school hip hop and R&B, like Pete Rock, CL Smooth. Like, you know, I could like that. That's my mix right there. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, how could you consider Big one of the greatest rappers even of all time? Like, he only had like two albums.
Yeah, I wasn't really that big into Big. Well, I was always more of a Pac fan.
Well, absolutely. I mean, to me Pac is the not just one of the greatest hip hop artists who ever put his voice behind a microphone, but what he said was like it moved you. Like, bro, like it's not only did it paint a story, but like Big was a hell of a storyteller. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he could tell you a whole story, and I mean, even like Sky's the Limit, right? Like he telling a story from basically rags to riches right there. And what Pac was, I mean, they study his lyrics as poetry. You know what I mean? So that should tell you enough. Um, But on the West Coast, I mean, I think you just gotta throw Snoop in there for the accomplishments and the longevity, you know what I mean, that he's done. I'd also put 40 in there, you know what I mean, on the West Coast. I just think 40 is very under. I don't think he gets all of the credit and props that he does for what he's done for hip hop. And um, who else would I throw in there from the West? I'd go Pac, Snoop, 40. I mean, all time probably Mac Dre. You know, Mac Dre was. I think Mac Dre was on the cusp. You know what I mean, of kind of turning that to mainstream, if you will, before he had passed or got killed, if you will. But yeah, those would probably be my top artists out there. I'm sure there's a few more. I just, they're not coming to my head right now. But
From the
yeah,
West, I got Snoop, Pac, Nipsey, Bone Thugs,
Nip, yeah. Well, Bone Thugs more central, right? They from Cleveland.
like Ohio.
Yeah, I'm not putting that on the West Coast.
Okay, all right, okay.
They are not coming
Okay,
across the
take
line.
Bone Thugs out. Take Bone Thugs out there. All right, so y'all don't claim Ohio. Okay, cool. Good to
Hell
know.
no, we ain't claiming Ohio. Claiming no goddamn Ohio on the West Coast.
All right, so I got Pac, Pac and Snoop easy. Me and Snoop got the same last name, so I got me and Snoop. That's my long lost uncle or something. Me,
Man, that's my
Snoop.
to smoke one with Snoop would just be on my bucket list.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Snoop to come up on the No Patience podcast and come smoke a blunt with me, man.
You got
Me,
250K, he'll
Snoop,
come do it.
motherfucking Wiz Khalifa, yeah. We gonna get high.
See, you can't put Wiz on the West Coast either. He's from fucking Pittsburgh.
Nah, I'm saying me, Snoop, and Wiz gotta do something together.
Oh
Then we gonna get high.
shit! Smoke one with Snoop, Wiz. Just give me the ultimate smoke room with Snoop, Wiz, Seth,
Yeah, Wiz over here with
Seth
me.
Rogen.
Wiz from PA.
Throw Willie
Pittsburgh,
Nelson in there.
fuck
Give me
with
the
me,
ultimate smoke room, man. Yeah. But where do you think, with that being said, right, that when you look at a lot of the artists that we are resonating with, right, are kind of 20, 30 plus years behind us. You know what I mean? Like, where do you think hip hop could go now? And also, do you think, I always have said this, I don't think hip hop would be some of the same shit going on right now if Pac was still alive. That's just me. Because I don't think he'd be letting motherfuckers get away with a lot of shit. Uh, but where do you think, where would you see hip hop going from here? Like, what do you think's next in hip hop?
I believe hip hop is turning to like emo rap. You know what I mean? Like the Juice World.
Okay.
You know what I mean? X Tentacion. Like that's like emo rap. And that's what people like really want to hear. That's what people gravitate into. So
I've
you
never
got
heard that
emo
term
rap,
before
and then you got
till today.
drill rap. And then drill rap is even turning into like party rap. I was just telling this to my man's I believe yesterday in another interview. Um the New York drill scene is starting to become what Atlanta was back in the day. People starting to gravitate real hard to the New York drill scene. And like they not like how the Chicago scene was. You know what I mean? Especially now because the wars is dying down in New York. So it's like they talking about dancing and fucking. Like they ain't talking about killing nobody. You know what I'm saying? So but they gangsters though. Like them niggas, they real gangsters. Like they shoot, they bust your ass type shit. They real gangsters, but they just talking about dancing and fucking. They ain't talking about, you know what I'm saying? So like you got the gangsters that's look like it's going towards more like a party rap type shit. Cause like look like they finding that to be the lane that's keeping them safe, I guess. And that's a good lane. And then you got the emo rap. You know what I mean? Like you got that's the other side of the gangsters. They going towards the emo rap side. You know what I'm saying? Like the Young Thug and you know what I mean? They real depressed. You know what I'm saying? That type of rap. And people
Yeah.
correlate with that because life is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody deal with
Yeah.
depression. The most rich people in the world probably deal with the most depression.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
So like
actually, it's funny you say that because it's actually a lot of people think when you have a lot of money. I mean, I don't have a lot of money, so I couldn't tell you, but based off of interviews and things that I've seen, that's a lot of isolation. You know what I mean? And when you think about it, right? Like even think about this. You know what I mean? Like to kind of touch on that base for a second. Like if you think about, let's just say your podcast goes mainstream, right? Spotify picks it up or whatever. You become like the number one podcast in the world or whatever, right? Let's just say that for a second. So now your face is known, people see you, right? So you have this kind of celebrity feature, if you will. But think of the celebrity on a higher level, right? Like think of like a Brad Pitt or you know what I mean, some type of high end movie star, if you will. Like when you can't leave your house, right? Like this, like if you wanted to go to the store right now and go pick up like a pack of blunts or something like that, you could do that, right? Nobody's gonna pull and try to take photos of you or nothing, right? You could go do your own business and nobody's gonna bother you. But imagine like going outside and there's paparazzi waiting for you, like where you feel like you can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? And you're confined to this place. You know what I mean? To whether it's your home or whatever it may be, right? But I mean, because you think about that, right? Like the more successful you become and the more like famous, if you will, like where you're giving up, you're giving up a lot of privacy. You know what I mean? And I think that's a lot of things that people take for granted. And when you have a lot of quick success, like what is that dude that had that huge hit and won a Grammy? His name was Gautier, right? That song,
Yeah,
you know what song I'm talking about? Like,
yeah.
you didn't have to cut me off. You know what I mean? I forget how it goes, but he
I
was
know
like
exactly
one
who you
and
talk.
done, huh?
I know exactly who you talk about. He's not one and done. He
Gautier,
he he
the
was with a group. He was with a band, and then they split up. He went single. He made that hit went crazy, and then he joined his band back.
yeah, I mean, but but there's a lot of, but he was an artist though. He was like, I'm not, I don't like a lot of this fame and that's not my style. Like I just want to make music. I'll tell you the other dude. What's his name? I gotta find it here.
He from
Actually,
Australia, so but he's still doing things. He probably won't never do nothing as big as that again because he joined his band back.
so
If they
there's a
wasn't that good then, they ain't gonna be that good now.
so there's a country dude. I saw him on Joe Rogan, but he had a really like they said it was the song he had came out with, which was Richmond north of Richmond. That was basically like an overnight blow up sensation, right? Like he was on Joe Rogan. I mean, he was viral in a matter of like days. Like this song just blew up. Like, and it's this country dude, you know what I mean? And he was like, he did not want any of the fame, bro. Like just a country dude from Virginia. And I guess what I'm saying is like when you get that overnight success or you get that success quickly, you know what I mean? Like, are you ready for that type of change where you can't walk out your house no more with somebody, flashing photos of you or shit, you're a dad, you know what I mean? So imagine somebody trying to flash photos of you and your kids and it's like, hey man, like, keep the cameras off my kids, right? And you're trying to protect your kids, right? Because you don't want your kids now being exposed to shit. So I mean, that's one of the things I think a lot of people don't think about when when they're in this content creation type of deal. Like if you blow up that quickly and people start knowing who you are, what kind of privacy are you ready to give up? And what comes along with it.
Well, I guess for a person that was probably you know didn't really know many people already and like or didn't really have you know much people already like yo what's going on bro like, everywhere they go. You know what I mean? A person like me, eh, my kids say all the time like daddy you know everybody. You know what I mean? Everywhere I go I know a bunch of people. You know what I mean? We could be in another state. I probably gonna know somebody.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when you get older, you don't want to start knowing. You keep your circle a lot smaller. So I
Well,
don't want to know everybody. I've been that though, where I felt like I could go up and down this state, and I'd have somewhere to lay my head for the night without a question. You know what I mean? And and even other states. But I keep very too much to my circle, man. Like I keep it very, to my friends, and a lot of times when people sometimes hit you up, hit me up on the weekend, like, what are you doing? I'm fucking enjoying my rent. That's what I'm doing. So,
right
you
now,
know,
yeah, I heard that. But
it's
when I want that type of solitude, I get it. You know,
yeah, and it's
I
good.
I
Sometimes you
got
need it.
my little my computer room. This room that I'm in right now is up under the stairs. It's the room under the stairs. It's just long as hell in here and it's wide in here. So that's my room, but this
See,
is my
that's the
isolation.
that's the crazy difference, right? There's no basements over here on the West Coast, right? There's like very, very seldom that you see a basement out here. You know what I mean?
But shit,
But
I'm not even in the basement. The basement is underneath me.
no shit.
I'm just in a
Damn, that's
nice little
crazy.
room, nice
Yeah,
little
that's a crazy
isolation.
layout. So yeah, that's a crazy layout. The infrastructure they have that's a lot different from on the
You ever
East
seen the
Coast than
movie
I see.
Harry Potter?
Man, I've been trying
The
to get my
first
kid
Harry
to
Potter
watch it.
when Oz had him locked in the room up under the
I
stairs.
I haven't gotten that far yet. I've been starting to watch it with my
That's the
kid, man. I'm
first
trying
one,
to
the
get him
very
into it.
first Harry Potter. The
We
aunt
haven't gotten
had him
past the
locked in
first
a room
hour.
under the stairs.
We haven't
I'm
gotten
in a
past the
room under
first
the stairs.
hour.
It's just a big ass room.
Yeah. I'm trying to get him into it, man. So I'm probably gonna start watching it myself. So, but it's yeah, I definitely am I've heard many good things about Harry Potter, and I definitely want to get my kid more into Harry Potter. Um, but let me ask you this, like, since we're talking about music, right? Like, what was the vibe like for you growing up? You know what I mean, in your household, like, what kind of music did like your parents influence you into, or you know what I mean, what kind of stuff was playing at Saturday morning, you know what I mean, when it's time to get up, clean the house, or you know what I mean, kind of just get the day ready or whatever. What was the vibe like for you with you and your parents when you were growing up? Like what kind of music did you hear?
I listen to a lot of different music. I used to write music. I mean, when I was a real little kid, and we listened to all kind of different music. My mother was like big on like Mariah Carey and all of like the singers.
Yeah.
Whatever singer you could name back in the day, like she had like a bunch of
It
CDs.
is definitely some Whitney
I
going on in
shit,
the house.
you could name it. I could tell you we heard it. You know what I'm saying? But I always had like a lot of uncles and cousins that stayed with us, shit like that. So I heard a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? Especially like a lot of like the old school probably all the rappers that I could say is my favorite. That's like older rappers. I probably heard the rappers like listen like because my uncles and my cousin. I mean, so I listened to a lot of like Tupac back in the day, a lot of DMX back in the day, a lot of Dipset. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Um, Not too much Biggie. I wasn't really into Biggie, like I said. I mean,
Isn't that like
my family
blasphemy?
members played Biggie. My stepfather played Biggie. I didn't. I just didn't. You know what I mean? I listened to a lot of like I listened to a lot of I like Nelly. Like I said,
A
50
lot of
Ja
people,
Rule.
a lot of, you know what's crazy is a lot
Chingy
of
was
people
hard.
don't know
I
how
like
like
Chingy. Chingy was hard. That was my man.
a lot of people don't know
Uh,
how gangster Nelly was. Like a lot of people just think he was this country grammar, like mainstream hip hop dude, and that he was kind of like an implant. But Nelly was from the Lou, and like
yeah,
do not sleep on Nelly. Like
yeah,
his
Nelly
country
like
grammar
that.
ass will, you know.
Nelly get all kind of respect in the game, man. Nelly could go to any
I
hood.
Oh, absolutely, I think so too. I mean,
Nelly
I
could
think
go to any
he,
hood.
yeah, I
Shout
think
out
he
to
did
Nelly, man. You could go to any hood.
a lot
Nelly,
of
man,
great
come
things
on
in
to No
hip hop.
Patience podcast, man. Come check me out. Show
Come
some
see him,
love.
come see him. So also thinking right, like not just being a podcast host, but being a dad too, man. Like so, just juggling all those things, like man, like how do you feel like just being a dad, and seeing where things are at nowadays, in society, and but also being like, let me ask you. I guess here's the question I would ask: like being a dad and being a parent myself, like what do you feel like you're most protective over with your kids? Like, what is it that you feel that like you were just, obviously besides the normal danger of, don't get hit by a car, don't do this, don't do that, but like
Oh, I just don't want
as
their time played with. I know how important time is. If you look at one of my, I think it's either my first or second video, not the one that I did with you, but with my brother. I told my brother one of the things that I want my kids to achieve in their lives is if I could have anything, like if I could just choose one thing, I mean that for them, it would be by the age of 25. I want them to have the full understanding of the world by 25. Cause I'm a firm believer that you ain't even learn nothing yet until like you start at 25 and then you know what I mean, like you a baby under 25, like 24 you a baby and then you growing at 25, like it just skipped just like that. You know what I'm saying? But
well, biologically, like males, like they say that we're fully developed at the age of 25, right? But I
both of
think
us.
personally, being now in my 40s, like I I even tell, kids that I've coached football, and have even told them like, look, life to me is about trying shit, do shit, you know what I mean? See what you like, you know what I mean? And be curious, because you could literally fuck up your whole 20s, to be honest with you. And life may not even
Yeah,
begin till 30,
yeah,
right?
hell yeah,
And, I think the earlier you understand things, like I would say for me, like what I'm protective over is like, I want my kid to understand everything that I did not understand and know at a younger age, to be able to have the game and understand things of just life. You know what I mean? To be able to understand
exactly,
that you want to be able
exactly,
to try different things, see what you resonate with, and you may go through different careers throughout your journey. You know what I mean? But find what works for you, do what you love, and be passionate about it. You know, but just be smart with like your money too. You know what I mean? Like that's my biggest thing with my kid is I want him to be intelligent with his finances. And one of the things I'm going to start doing is actually I just ordered the other day actually off Amazon. I just ordered some like play money, right? So I don't think he's at the full age right now. Like he's 2.5, you know what I mean? So he don't really understand like, me handing him paper or whatever, but like I'm trying to like get him to understand like, you know what I mean, just the value of certain things, right? So kind of want to start like just gradually showing him, you know what I mean, like, okay, like you want a snack, you know what I mean, like it's gonna cost you two of your dollars, you know what I mean, and just to try to understand like either how to save for something or how to, you know what I mean, can be smart with the money, but just doing little things like that I wish, you know what I mean, was taught to me, because shit, I don't think I figured out finances. Fuck, I don't even think I figured out my finances until like I was in my late 30s. You know what I mean, and even then there were still fuck ups, and but understanding the importance of either investing, growing, but teaching your kids, how to um, explore different things in life, right? And continuously be learning and develop your brain, develop your skill set. And I think the challenge that we have with kids nowadays is that everything is almost kind of being done for them in a way, right? Like it's almost a sense of entitlement, you know what I mean? And the way that, I mean, you and I both use AI, you know what I mean? And we both understand that AI can do a lot of things. And I think that what AI is going to start doing is taking away the thought process. And, to kind of transition into just discussing AI, like I think that where AI is going is it is really going to start taking away the thought process of you being able to do critical thinking, because it basically will take it all away from you, right? So I try to myself, when I use AI, I kind of try to use it as more of like bullet points, right? So we're like, these are some things here that I can either talk about, or this is what I'm looking for in this subject. But don't get me wrong, like you use it to create content, you use it for a number of things, and it's literally like its whole search pattern. But it's, let me ask you this. Do you know how to write in cursive?
my handwriting always been real sloppy. It's crazy 'cause I could draw real good and I do tattoos, but when I write in cursive, nobody when I write regular, it's hard to understand. So when I write in cursive, it's like, bro, what the fuck is this? So like, I just don't even do that shit. But
Well,
yeah, I
the
do though.
reason, yeah, the reason I asked that is because like in schools they don't teach cursive no more.
They did when I grew up.
No, no, absolutely. But I'm saying like today's generation of kids don't know how to write in cursive. So I
Yeah,
guess
but they
like
teach
looking
them
at,
like Chinese. They teaching them like Chinese and shit.
well, everything's done on a computer, right? You know what I mean? There's no more bring your book to class. It's like bring the laptop to class, right? Like the school is issuing you a laptop, and they do their homework on it. They bring it in class. You know what I mean? Everything is computerized. So I think that you're taking away. I don't want to say taken away, but I think this that the way that society and the world is evolving is things are more based on a digital presence than your written presence. And I say that because I remember I asked a kid one time, like he had hurt his ankle, and I was like, hey, stretch your ankle out, you know what I mean, but write your name in cursive, you know what I mean, with your ankle, like do the alphabet, you know what I mean, in cursive with your ankle, just to try to stretch it out and get different angles, etc. I must come back like 10 minutes later, look at him, I'm like, what are you doing, like why are you just sitting here? Coach, I don't know how to write in cursive. I don't know what that is. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? How do you sign? How do you sign your name? I just write it. I'm like, what do you mean you just write it? Like you just like it's just like you just normal like Times New Roman font. Like what are we talking about?
But
Yeah,
to elaborate more on the last question and go further deep into this one though. I try to be real strict on my kids' time. Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, they might not understand why, like, you want certain things to happen a certain way until they get older and then they thank you for it. But they not going to teach themselves, and I'd rather teach my kids before the world teach them. So,
yeah. That's the, for
like
me,
like
that's
like
the,
and my mother worked for no public schools. You know what I'm saying? So like, and my kids go to the same school that my mother worked at and all that. So like, I'm not saying that I don't trust how they get taught or nothing like that. But I'm really really intelligent myself, so I make sure that outside of school they learning efficiently. You know what I'm saying? But both my two oldest kids is on the honor roll, always on the honor roll. Every semester, I can show the report cards, shit like that. You know what I mean? My youngest child in pre-K four, he going to pre-K four. He don't get that type of report card yet. I'm like that, and hopefully by the time they 25, they got a full understanding of life outside of their curriculum that they been taught in school and all that. You know what I mean? Because I teach outside the school. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I'm
No, I think it's
always,
powerful. I think it's extremely powerful to be able to teach your kids. I mean, a lot of people, especially in California, man, a lot of people are big on homeschooling. You know what I mean? Because they feel that things are being taught in the school that they don't want their kids to know about, or that shouldn't be discussed with kids. And I think that, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, for myself, I'm, my kid's only, again, he's only 2.5. So, I mean, we're a little bit of ways away, but, I definitely have entertained private school, or just more along the lines to like keeping him out of public school and just more, just giving him the best opportunity for like education. But also, I want him to learn about school. I don't want him to have to go to school and learn about, you know, I mean, and I'm not trying to get political or anything like that. But I don't think he needs to learn about like genders and all of that other stuff. Like that's just not, that doesn't, to me, that's not going to help him advance in life. You know what I mean? Like that's more along the lines like, can you teach him how to balance a checkbook? You know what I mean? Can you teach him how to invest his money? Can you teach him those certain things? You know what I mean? I think they need to bring back a home ec class. You know what I mean? Teach these kids how to mop a damn floor. Like start teaching them things that they can use in everyday life. Like, you know what I mean? Like for real, like keep these kids with what is happening in life. And I'm sure I'm okay with adapting and making changes. Do I think there should be a class or something like that? Sure. You want to take gender studies or whatever? Sure. Make that an elective that a kid can choose to take on their own. That and they have to get a sign, a signature from the parent or whatever if they want to take it. Great, that's fine. Teach that in high school. Make it an elective. Sure, you want to go to middle school? Whatever, that's fine. I mean, I'm sure these kids are a lot more advanced than I was, and maybe even yourself, growing up, right? Because they have so much
hell
at the
yeah,
fingertips of their hands. You know what I mean?
hell yeah.
But and I'll
I
give you an
just like
example,
to
right?
learn.
Well, let me ask you this, because I was talking to my brother. We were talking about our kids the other day, and how different society is and how protective we are as parents now, right? Like, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, man, like I was going all over like I would take the bus as a third grader by myself to the mall. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I probably didn't have like the best supervision from my parents, but like me and my brother would go walk to the flea market. Like we were in fifth, sixth, not even fifth, sixth grade, like probably like third or fourth grade, like going to the flea market.
Different
You know what I
time
mean?
frame, man. It's a different time frame, brother.
Like, but
It's
now
a
you look
different
at it,
time
right?
frame, man.
100%. Like my brother's
I'm
like,
not
I'm like,
letting my
hey,
kids go nowhere without me, man.
he
It's a
said the
different
same
time
thing.
frame, man. You probably come from a time frame where your teacher could spank your ass in the classroom.
Let's not get that carried away. I'm not that old. But
I'm just saying, like, you know what I
um,
mean? Shit,
they
my,
could
my
probably
mother was from a
discipline you a little
time
more.
frame where they'd pull your ass from the ear. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, they
it's
probably
a
need that.
different
You know what I
type of
mean?
world, you know what I mean? And I come from the project, so like
You and me
your
both.
neighbor will watch you too. Like if you outside and somebody
Oh
go
yeah,
tell your mother real quick, you know what I mean? So I grew up
where
with
the
that
neighbor
type of
could tell you to
guidance,
get
but in
your
this
ass
type
in
of
the
in this
house.
world, like, it ain't that type of guidance no more.
Yeah, the neighbor could tell you to bring your ass in the house, or you know what I
Not
mean,
no
almost be a
more.
disciplinarian. You know what I mean?
Not
Because
no more. You do
absolutely.
that, then the little kid mother gonna come out start talking about don't talk to my kid like that. Like
Right. You know what I
motherfucker, you
mean?
should be talking to your kid like that. I
Right.
mean,
Verse on the other side of that saying, thank you for looking out for my kid. You know what I mean? I
right.
appreciate that. Right. That's the difference that we have now is because we have parents that have an attitude which transpires to the kids that have this funky ass fucking attitude. And, you know, you need it because it takes a village to raise kids, man. It truly does, you know. And I think being able to have multiple people looking out for your kids. Like when my kids are around my friends, like it is open season. You know what I mean? In regards to if you see my kid fucking up, like by all means, say something. You know what I mean? Like I do not, and if your kid's fucking up, I'm gonna say something like, hey, like, no, you ain't doing that. What are you doing? Uh, and it's never a thing of like where I'm coming, where it's coming from a bad place. It's coming from a place of love. And the part of it is too is that you don't see a lot of people like, I mean, again, it was different, but you don't see a lot of people like a lot, friends going to friends houses, right? Like my boy Andrew growing up, right? My boy Andrew in Napa, man, I could swear to you, like I don't think that door was locked to his parents' house for like 10 plus years, and that was always a safe haven for like me and my folks to be able to come to. We'd go there before football games, we'd go there on weekends, like that was the spot to go. Like heck, like it could be like 12 at night and you're like, I'm leaving a party or something like that, like I gotta go crash at Andrews. You know what I mean? There was no texting. You know what I mean? Like this is before texting and all that. You know what I mean? But his parents created a safe space for all of us. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like not only did like his parents do that, but like my buddy Tyson, his mom and dad, like they had it was a safe space. They all like, my other buddy Cody, like, I mean, all of us, like, they knew all of us growing up, and it was a safe space for you to go to as a kid. Nowadays, I don't think parents think that way. You know what I mean? And I could be wrong. You know what I mean? Because my kids at a certain age, but I feel that like everybody kind of has their little clique in their circle. But I mean, I do see it more. With some of my friends, like where they kind of have like the neighborhood kids over or whatever because they got the pool or whatever it may be. But I will tell you, man, like, yeah, even talking to my brother, like, he was like, look, I wouldn't let my kids go to 7-Eleven, which is like 3 blocks down the street. Like, they ain't going nowhere. Same thing you said. They're not going nowhere without me. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that we
Love
live in
that,
this
bro.
society like that. You know what I mean? That where kids can't go outside because it used to be bring your ass in before the streetlights hit. You know what I mean? And that was really it. Like, I remember playing outside till it got dark and coming home, you know what I mean? Dirty and eating dinner and going to take a bath or a shower. And, because we was out playing all day. And that's where I think kids need to be outside more. That's the problem. And you look at that now too, though, but it almost is a thing where and I'm not a political dude, but it's almost sometimes where things get political with people. You know what I mean? Like, oh, your parents, they voted for this person, you can't go over there. You know what I mean? And but I know there was a topic you were looking at talking about, man. It's not to go down the political term, but I know you were talking about before we jumped on here, we were kind of just talking about some things, and one of the things you brought up was reparations, right? And so tell me a little bit more about like what your thought process is on reparations. And first, a little bit of your background, like right, like what are you mixed with, right? Because I know you're saying you're black, Spanish, I believe as well.
Yeah, I'm black, white, Indian. I'm a little bit of everything. Got to throw some Spanish in there if you want to, all that. I got a little bit of everything up in there. Shit. I mean, I don't got no bias when it come down to it. You feel me? And I'm not ignorant. Like I said, I'm real intelligent, man. A lot of people you might hear me say I'm from the projects. You might see me smoking on camera, all that. All, don't keep in mind, I'm also a data scientist. I mean, you gotta be good with numbers too. I'm real intelligent. You feel me? Real. I'm tapped in, so I don't got no bias on that. I mean, take that into accountability. You know what I mean? And I'm real intelligent. I ain't just hear nobody say something and I'm running with it. You know what I mean? I got my own intelligent opinion on it. You know what I mean? Not you. I'm saying for the world, the people
Oh no,
that's.
I hear what you're saying for sure.
But like I said, I don't I gotta agree and disagree at the same time. So I'm gonna explain why I think black people should get reparations, and I'm gonna say why I think we shouldn't. So obviously, I think that we should get reparations because why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Everybody
Sure,
else got 'em.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everybody else got them.
I'm
Even
half
if you
black.
want to talk
Totally,
about the
totally
Holocaust
something.
survivors, it was black people that was a part of the Holocaust too that didn't get nothing out of that. You know what I'm
Wow, I
saying?
didn't know that actually.
You could dive real deep into that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that go into that. That's pretty as far as why we should get it. That's pretty much. I mean, like why not? Why the fuck not? You feel me? Any minority or any race that been that uh cultural impact shaped how they have to recover right now. I believe so. Yeah. Any race that was impacted by a cultural disaster. But why I think we shouldn't is because it's not matter of fact before I say this I also feel as if we should too because uh, but for the the rebirth thing, how people are just now recovering from that. Like you got what's his name, Andrew Kirk, whatever the fuck the nigga name is, to be he be going around Anthony Kirk, whatever the fuck,
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk, yeah, Charlie Kirk. He be going around having these debates with people. I usually agree with him, but what I don't agree with is when he said when he said how did it hurt you? Like, what the fuck do you mean how did it hurt us? Do you see what we were recovering from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you say
Yeah,
like welfare was designed to take the father out of the home and stuff like that. And if you can agree that the father being out of the home is what hurts, the black community
100%.
or any minority or any household, and I also agree with that as well. And you have to understand that the people that and we might even get, I mean, hurt for saying this. I mean, our channels might get hurt for saying this, but the people that run this shit designed it to be that way.
Of course, it's a business.
So when you say like how did it hurt us, you have to also understand that we're rebuild just now in today's world. We're building from that. You know what I'm saying? When I grew up,
Yeah,
that was the end of the times where the black man or the father period had to be out the household for the mother to receive welfare. Because like a
yeah,
little bit before my time, the father absolutely had to be out of the household. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And it's not just that. It's a lot more shit that go into that. Like Chicago, Newark, New Jersey, a lot of parts of New York was all black owned at one time. You know what I'm saying? You think black people just was that stupid that we just lost our businesses? No.
I I think I would say in regards to like receiving reparations, right? And I kind of look at the part of it like, okay, like let's say it was a green light on it, right? They said, okay, hey, we're going to give reparations out. Now, how do we start to determine who gets reparations,
All
right?
right,
How does
this go into like why I disagree with it. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that we should get reparations because when you know better, you do better. And I feel like again with the rebirth thing, we far ahead from where we were. You know what I mean? And I feel like we smart enough to where and we have the opportunity now to where we could equally get ourselves rich if we grinded hard enough for it. And then it's like the people that you asking to pay these reparations didn't put you in slavery. They didn't have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
no, they
Right.
didn't
So it's
for
like,
sure.
dang, I gotta pay you back for something that my ancestors did. Like, I ain't fucking do it. I might actually disagree with the shit. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that too. And then it comes down to what you saying, where would the money come from? And that's a whole nother topic. Because I feel like there's a lot of places the money could come from. Because I feel like America take money, and I make a lot of money. I work, I do a lot. So I pay a lot of taxes, and I don't agree with half the places my money go to. I don't give a fuck about the wars over there. I don't believe we should be helping them motherfuckers. That's one place my money is going to. I don't think it should be going. I don't believe that they doing shit in space to even take a 75, 80% of our money. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I believe that free healthcare should definitely come before any reparations for sure.
I 100% agree.
But you know what I mean? Just to answer the question of where the money will come from, you know what I'm saying? Chop down some of this bullshit that they doing and put the money in the right places, and I believe everybody can get some reparations. But
Well, when you
I
look at
disagree with it
reparations,
because we would be taking the money from people that didn't do nothing to you.
fair. I mean, that's definitely a fair way to look at it in regards to the people that didn't do anything from you. I mean, I don't think it's like, hey, let's go tax Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, you know what I mean, for reparations, right? Like that's not something that I think would actually happen, but I think it would have to come out of the government's budget at some point. But when you look at like, I mean, I'm not too skilled or knowledgeable about the topic. You know what I mean? I have like my own personal opinion on it, and I would say, do I think that black people deserve something for it? Yeah, absolutely. But my my thing with it is okay, hey, like let's say we green like this and you got reparations. I don't think it's necessarily handing somebody a check. I think we have to figure out how do you help black people do better as a community, you know what I mean? And to where it's okay, hey, you have reparations, but we're not giving the reparations to any adult. We're going to give them to your children. And we're going to not only give them to your children, but we're going to actually put them into an investment account that roughly shows about 8 to 10% a year in return, right? Let's just say that's a safe number in regards to the market. And your kid can cash that out. And if they choose to do something with their family or for their family at that point, great. But we want them to be able to be set, right? Because now, here's the thing: when you do something like that, right, to where that now you're saying, hey, we're putting this into an investment account, to where now as from a business perspective, you're now giving money out on paper versus giving money out in hand. So that doesn't hurt your budget extremely. You're also setting up the next generation to do better. You know what I mean? Because I think you have to look at what's behind you and what's coming, what's going to be going forward with that. So I think if you're able to put something into like children's accounts or whatever, you know what I mean? And if you don't have kids, then, we figure something else out, or, we figure out a different number for you. But I think when you're giving it to the kids and the next generation and allowing that money to be invested to where that they have something to look forward to when they're 18, if it's to be used for college, great, it's untaxed. If it's used like you just want to cash it out, you treat it like a 401k and you're going to get taxed. You know what I mean? Now, when you do something like that, again, you're setting up success, right? Because now, whether a child has a father in the home or whatever it may be, they have the opportunity to go to college. They have the opportunity to start a business. They have an opportunity to learn a trade. They have whatever they want to do with this money, whether they want to invest it in the real estate. Hey, I'm going to buy a family for my home, or, I'm going to buy a home for my family. Excuse me. I said that completely backwards. But, I think
Nah,
it
you
gives more
good.
opportunity, to do those things. But now, on the flip side of it, do I think that, like, if you just
Now, let,
give,
before you say that, let me elaborate more on what you just said. So like I just said, so the the black community right now is rebuilding from what it used to be. So like I could argue that we always had a million like really really smart individuals. However, you wouldn't know that because we would only know what the TV portray and what you
sure.
know. But now the internet is a real big thing. So not only do we already have a lot of really really smart individuals, but we able to see it. You know what I'm saying? And the really really smart individuals is speaking. You know what I mean? It's the black community is much 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 more awake than it used to be. So like we know what's up. You know what I mean? We know what's up. We are
And you,
everybody already preparing for. It's just that a lot of us is starting really really late. You know what I mean? It's not that
yeah.
a lot of us don't know how to utilize that money if we get it. It's that we starting late.
Well, I think it's
So
also
it
the
seems
education level of
like
what's
for
taught.
example, right? Like I heard somebody on another video when they was talking about reparations. Somebody was like, if they give the black people reparations, all they gonna do is buy grills in their mouth and cars and shit.
Yeah.
That's not true.
It's not true, but you'll still see some idiots do that.
You will, but that I will argue that it's going to be a very small percentage. Too, I feel like most of the people that get the reparations is either going to do really really well in business or lose the money trying to start business. You
I
know what I'm
don't think
saying?
just I don't I think that, but I think with
Because we starting late,
any
so a
culture
lot
or
of us don't know
society,
how to. They gonna put the money into the business, but then they might lose it. You know what I mean? They either gonna do really really well or really really bad because they starting late, so they don't know. You know what I'm
well,
saying?
yeah. So I mean, but that for me to use the they don't know nowadays to me would be not like that doesn't hold any weight with me, right? Because you have so much power at your fingertips in regards to wanting to learn, right? So there's two types of people, right? There's somebody that's willing and there's somebody that's capable, right? Now, you could be capable of doing a lot of things. The question is, are you willing to do them? You know what I mean? So if you want to learn about fucking basket weaving, you could jump on YouTube and watch 100 fucking videos on basket weaving. So if you want to learn about society or you want to learn about how to open a business, you want to do any of that, to me, there's no fucking excuse. Like the internet will teach you just about whatever the
Yeah,
fuck you
yeah.
want to do.
You could learn the business,
So
but you could jump into it and fuck your money up. You know what I mean? It could go
absolutely,
either way. It's like the stock
but
market. You know what I mean?
but you could do that without you could do that, I mean, you could do that if you even have the knowledge, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times business ain't 100% proof, you know what I mean? And most business owners that I've talked to, and even being a business owner myself at one point, like you don't see a profit till like year 3, you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand that, and a lot of people are ready to quit after year 1, you know what I mean, when the times are tough and you're sinking everything you got into a business. Like, yeah, man, like you gotta, when you're
Yeah.
opening a business, like you got
And
to understand, like there's a lot
after
that
you,
comes along with that.
you had some trial and tribulation, you learn, a little bit more. You know what I mean? You started to get a little bit more successful. That's what
Test
I'm
and
saying.
learn. Absolutely. Test and
I
learn.
mean, that's what I'm
Test and
saying.
learn. You know what I mean? Because when you're trying, right? Because life is about learning from your failures. So if you're not failing, you're not fucking trying. So a lot of people are scared to get lift that first foot going, right? And we even talked about something like that at the beginning of the show, where even starting your first show, your first podcast, your first, time on camera is nervous as fuck. You know what I mean? Because you're like, holy shit, this thing is going, this is real. Now, you know what I mean? You're more comfortable behind it, right? Because what happened? You started getting reps, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the same shit I say even as a football coach, right? Like you have to get more reps. The more reps you get, the more that your body's going to be conditioned, the more your mind's going to be conditioned to doing things. I'm sure you're a lot different from the episode you're on now to episode 1, right?
Yeah, yeah. Put in your 1,000 hours.
Yeah, and
Put
that's
in your thousand
that. I
hours.
think it's not about like the problem is sometimes, and again, like being black and white, like I feel like I get to gift to talk about both sides of the coin. You know what I mean? Being black and white. And don't get me wrong, like being black and white, I will tell you right now, like it's a it's a fucked up mental struggle at times because no matter what you do in this world, no matter what people see you for, they will always see my color first. No matter what, they will always see my color first before anything. And then even being black and white to go down that road of like where people are like, well, you're not black. Like, well, what the fuck is black? Like, what? Because I'm not as dark as Wesley Snipes. Like, what the fuck you talking about? Or because I don't have a grill in my fucking mouth, or holding a fucking 40. Like, is that what the fuck you think black is? I've heard that shit from people I fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like you're, like, and
Nah,
that's
nah, for
kind of
sure.
growing up in Napa, right? Like the predominantly of my friend group is white, so that's fine. Like I don't really give a fuck about your color. I more care about you as a human fucking being and how the fuck you are to me and those around me, right? That's what I give a fuck about. So I don't give a fuck what color you be fucking. I mean, nowadays you do get purple motherfucking people. So, it really is, just are you a good fucking human being? But, to kind of recap and circle back to the reparations thing, like to me, look, reparations are not about blame. Like, I don't think that's about blaming somebody. I think it's about acknowledging the fact. And I think the part that's challenging and what pisses off black folks is that it's not acknowledged. It's not like you don't hear, you know what? Yeah, we fucked up, man. That was some fucked up shit we did. And I think until that fucking happens, it's always going to be a pissed off fucking mindset. Because it's not about just fucking slavery. Like, let's go down into the fucking segregation of schools and shit like that. Like, could you imagine nowadays as a parent, like, you have to take your kid to a whole separate fucking school? They have to drink from a separate fucking water fountain? Like, that is absolutely fucking mind boggling to me now. And when
We
I
had a
hear
good
people,
that.
even people now, when I hear people, like racism, I'm like, I laugh at it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, it's fucking 2025, and you're talking
Yeah, who
about
the fuck still
fucking,
keeping that shit alive?
like, get the fuck out of here. Like, get over it. Like, there's been a fucking black president. There's been a woman, multiple woman leaders in different countries, and you're still on this fucking backyard hillbilly shit. Like, fuck off. Like, that's kind of how I look at that shit. But to me, again, the reparations, it's about the acknowledgement. You know what I mean? And I think when the country is able to acknowledge that we fucked up, and then that was some foul shit that we did, and I think that helps the healing process, because I don't think a lot of black folks is healed from that shit. But it's also
No, that's an
about
excuse.
building.
That
Yeah, I
would be
think
an excuse right there. That would be an excuse.
not being healed from it.
We can't say that we haven't healed from nothing that we are actively rebuilding from. Black people are good. Like, you know what I'm saying? We could do everything that everybody else could do. It's just that we started late. You know what I'm saying? So everybody else got the head start. Like in Jersey, for example, it's not really a white state. This is like Spanish and Italian over here in Jersey. So like everything, they got everything. Like we started late. You know what I'm saying? Can we start getting shit? Yeah, but a
We
big
can start getting
majority of
shit.
people gotta have it. Like, you know
We
what I
can
mean?
start
It
getting
can't just
shit,
be
but
Shaq by itself. You
look
know
at
what
it
I'm
like a
saying? Like, it gotta
race.
be Shaq and Queen Latifah and more. Like, and they gotta own more and help out more black people. And then when they start getting up, then more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then when they start getting up, then more coming. Then when they start getting up, then more come. You know what I'm saying? We started late. Whereas the other races, they was able to start a little early. You know what I'm saying?
Well, look at it like a race, right? If if you got a 100-yard head start on me, I'm sure that gives you a pretty good advantage of winning the race, right?
Exactly.
And so when somebody's got a 100+ year head start on you, you know what I mean? It's a very big difference in the race. You know what I mean? Like, are you closing the gap? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But I think the fact of the matter is that it's truly about building, you know, equality and equity from the ground up. You know what I mean? I think that countries around the world have repaired wounds in some ways, but I mean, racism is different. Like, I talk to friends in England, like they, they don't really. It's not a huge fucking deal. Like, I mean, you still see racism, you know what I mean, over there or whatever, in times. But as one of my friends from England was telling me, they're like, well, you're a young fucking country. Like, think of that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think how young of a country you are compared to England, who's had like multiple centuries of a head start on you. You know what I mean? So that type of shit doesn't really fly around here. That. But again, I to kind of like close it, I think the whole reparations thing, I think you need to have first, it has to be an apology. I think that's the part of it. And I understand what you're saying. Like, why the fuck should somebody apologize for you for some shit that you weren't involved in or they weren't involved in? It's not about it's not about a direct, like, me apologizing to you. I think it's the country itself apologizing and saying, yeah, that was a very dark time in our country. You know what I mean? And you've heard some leaders say that. To say, like, when there's people out in the world like, well, you did this to me, you did that to me, and I don't think it's more along the lines of like, I didn't lock you up in chains and start making you go outside and go pick, cotton or grapes or any whatever the hell you want to call it. I didn't make you do any of that. But I think where people are getting that from is they're more along the lines, they feel that they're not given an equal opportunity in certain things. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. I've heard Charlie Kirk. I've listened to his videos. I've seen that. I've seen other, different social media people talk about stuff like that. But I will tell you this: like, if you think for 1 second behind some closed doors that stuff like that doesn't happen, you know what I mean, you'd be mistaken. You know what I mean? And to me, like, to think that stuff like that doesn't happen is also ignorance. Because again, I grew up with a lot of white friends, and I can tell you right now, some of those friends that I have, I can tell you, if one of their kids brought home like a black man, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it would be a big issue, but that they would make us think about, like, we'd be like, he's not allowed in this house, etc. But like, in the back of their mind, there definitely would be like, shit, she's dating a black dude.
Well, my take to what you just said. So it's not. I don't think it's about the apology, bro. it's more about the awareness, bro. And like I feel like white America, for the most part, is trying to sweep it under the rug because not every white American is racist.
True.
However, it's still like sundown towns and spots where black people can't go and be after
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
like
true.
racism really does still exist, bro. So like
Yeah, and it's sad.
I think it's not an apology. Like 'cause the apology ain't gonna erase that. Like I'm from I'm from the ghetto, bro. I'm from a black neighborhood, bro. Like it's black and Spanish out here, bro. It ain't really no white people in Jersey like that. It's black and Spanish. Like it's predominantly. So like ain't no like we more racist with each other. A black person to walk up and fight another black person over some shit before he go and approach the white dude. So we not racist towards them. Ain't no spot where no white man can't go after dark. We see them and show love. Even if we just clowning them. Like how we are, what I mean? Even if we just clowning them, we see them and show love, feel me? But they got whole towns where we can't even go. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, yeah, that's I
You
mean
know what I mean? So
there's
like
probably
that
places
shit
like
is
that in
it's
California.
I mean I don't think we need reparations because of that. I mean it's a we not in that type of lifetime. You know what I'm saying? You do something to me, I could fuck you up. Plain and simple. I got cameras and shit. I can prove you trying to do something to me. All that. So it's a different type of lifetime than like our ancestors had to deal with. So I'm not even about to, confuse the two. But it do still exist, and it is more of an awareness thing than us wanting an apology.
No, absolutely. And it's I think there's still a lot to be done with that, and I think that there's a lot still to be looked into for reparations, and even I mean, unfortunately, like when you look at racism, right? Like racism, you're not born with racism. Racism is taught. So when something is taught, you're continuing that part of the negative in society, right? So at some point in time, like you have to kind of get to the root of where it's going to be taught. And unfortunately, like that's not something you can really control, right? And there is, there's racism probably that still exists in parts of the South. There's a racism that exists in California. You go out to places of the Central Valley, like out here, they're not very friendly. You know what I mean? In some areas, and it's kind of like you just want to get in and get out. But I would say, I mean, it's always an interesting topic with that. I think that you can debate that for hours. You know what I mean? In regards to what people deserve, what people don't deserve, or why we should even acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Because that's the first part. You know what I mean? Is acknowledging it to me. But again, it's definitely a hot topic that's getting debated right now, and I still think that it's a lot of just fucking hot wind in the air that people are just debating, and that's on both sides of that perspective.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, man. Kind of turning a page into like a different direction. Is where do you feel like your personal growth and like your direction is going right now, like with especially with things that you got the podcast going, you know what I mean, like being a dad still, you know what I mean, and doing your career. So I mean, again, like as life can just take you in so many directions, like what direction do you feel that things are going for you right now, again, from being a podcast host to a dad and a career, like how do you find that you balance all of those things?
But I see it going in a real good direction. Um, anything that you do, I'm a firm believer that you should do it to a high level. I might not be a chef forever. You know what I mean? I might not, I might not do tattoos forever either. I don't even, I had told my boy, Tommy Boy Fame, with another interview that I did. I lost the passion for doing tattoos a long time ago. I feel better, helping people learn how to do it. Um,
Yeah, so more teaching.
yeah. As far as I'm starting to dive more deeper into tech, data analyst, data science, that type of thing. So I'm probably I'm probably gonna go more that way. And obviously that paid more money than than cooking. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for sure.
The podcast is getting a lot of attention. I don't do the podcast for hoping to see $1 million from it. I do the podcast because I like it. So
Yeah.
whether the podcast does well or not, this is always gonna be like a hobby that I see myself doing. Um, but more so as far as achieving a goal, the data science shit, I'm probably going really
Yeah. So more pursuing like the
take off
career
more so
and
doing that. How I
yeah.
balance everything. Um, I don't want to talk too much about my court situation right now. The judge made it to where my kids get a week with their mother and a week with me,
Yeah,
even
that's
though
good.
they live here, whatever. She get them for a week at her house type shit. But I'm about to try to get that switch back to where they only go with their mother on the weekends type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I will be I will probably bring less content towards my podcast when that happens. Cause right now I only do like my podcast with my kids not here. That's why I'm smoking and everything. My kids
Right.
not here.
No, same way.
You know what I'm
Same way.
saying? I won't be smoking like this. All that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got to air out the house before they get home.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I know all about that, man. It's the
yeah.
same thing with me, man. When my kid's at his mom's house, like that's when I feel like I also do you ever feel like I'm cramming? I'm trying to get so much done in that week, you know what I mean, when you're kind of kid
Right.
free, like where you feel like you're just
Yeah.
cramming everything, right? But the hardest part of for me, I would say when you actually, are doing that split, that 50-50 split, like there's times where it's like it's Wednesday, you know what I mean, and my kid, he's in the terrible twos, you know what I mean, he's just, boy, he'll put me through the ringer at times, but he just gives me one smile and I forget every crazy thing he was doing, or the fact that he was yelling at me because he couldn't eat ice cream at 8 in the morning, you know what I mean, so it's like, uh but it's like Wednesday. I'm like, God, I start looking at him like, boy, I can't wait till you go back to your mama's house. Like, give me a breath. But I could tell you, like, the Friday that he goes back to his mom's, like, I have to literally like shut the door to his room. You know what I mean? Because like I walk by it and I just get sad. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, I'm like, my little dude ain't here. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got some time. I can kind of, being single, that's kind of the time I can use if I want to go on a date, or if I want to go out with the boys or whatever, you know what I mean, I have that opportunity to do so. But it's like as soon as I walk by that room, man, like it's just like I just get sad, you know what I mean, because I'm like, man, like he's not, like, you just feel like it's a part of you missing, you know what I mean, where it's like you're so used to having them around and running around the house, and then
Yeah,
it's like they're
yeah.
gone for a week, you know what I mean, like don't get me wrong, like Friday, Saturday, you're like, man, it's cool, you know what I mean? Like I got my time, you know what I mean? I'm kid free. I can go do whatever I want to go do right now. I can go, hang out with the peoples, and just and be kid free, right? You know what I mean? Because I don't really have that responsibility right now. But
When they here,
you
I
know,
can't deal with the noise, but when they gone, I can't deal with the silence.
yeah, I've heard that a lot actually, man, from people that do like 50-50 splits, or even splits. Like you're just so used to like the chaos and the ruckus with kids running around the house, and then when it's quiet, it's like, what's going on right
You
now?
don't know what to do with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Like I talked to my brother, you know what I mean, and he's got his own house now with his kids. When the kids go to their moms, he he'll he's like, he hit me and he's like, man, he's like, I'm just sitting here like, I feel like Will Smith. You know what I mean? At the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the last episode, I'm just sitting in the house, like ain't nobody here, just me chilling. He's like, then I just start thinking like I could go do whatever the hell I want right now. I'm like, yeah, that comes for sure. That feeling definitely comes. You know what I mean? But when you wake up in the morning and you realize that you ain't, nobody really is there to cook breakfast for, or you're not trying to get anybody ready. Like sometimes that's a little bit of a relief, but it's also sad as shit. You know what I mean? Like you miss them. You know what I mean? But sometimes when they're there, you're like, oh boy, you can go to your mama's house today if you want.
Well, me personally, man, I'm just a routine person. I do everything by like a routine. So when something knock off the routine, I'm off balance. Like I'm my whole life off balance. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
no, for sure. That I find
or
myself the same way, and I think one of the things I attribute to that now, is because I'm very big, if you've seen any of the content of where I'm very big on taking control of your morning, you know what I mean? And really kind of starting your morning with like intentions and purpose and having like a
Yeah.
routine, if you will, right? And so even when my kid's here, because I try to get up like maybe an hour before I wake him up, you know what I mean, to start getting ready for like daycare, I try to, get some stuff done, you know what I mean, whether it's sit down, like read for a second, I try to journal. I've been trying to get back into that. But I try to do that because even when he's not here, I do those things. So it starts to feel a little bit more routine of this is my morning jam that I get into, right? And that kind of has helped a little bit. But don't get me wrong, like, when he's gone, I'm like, man, it's like there's a part of me that just feels empty. And it's like you just this because you're at home, for me it's like I'm here by myself, you know what I mean? So it's like, the it's just like it's like an empty house, but there are times too, but when he is here, you know what I mean, like I feel like I'm more alert. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like where you feel like you're more alert. Like if somebody was ever to try to break in or something, you know what I mean? Like you just, as a parent, you always think of those things. Like, cause I don't know, I have a weird mind. So I start thinking of like, man, if somebody tries to break in, like, what would I do? Like, okay, I got to lock him in this room and then I got to go out here and try to deal with the situation. You know what I mean? Like, I got to make sure that I lock the door behind me. And, and then I start thinking, I'm like, well, okay, well, what if you get rid of the situation? How are you going to unlock the door? You know what I mean? Where he's in? Are you going to have to get the drill out and take off the freaking door handle? Because, you don't got a key to this room and it's more along the lines meant to be locked from the inside. Like, man, like, all right, buddy, open up that window. So, um, but yeah, man, it's challenging when you do the 50-50, man. And co-parenting is never easy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what people say. Like, I just haven't had the easiest experience with it, and it has its challenges, definitely for sure. But, um, the co-parenting I think gets challenging even more like when the kids are older, right? Because they're into different stuff, or they're into sports or whatever it may be, and you're trying to navigate this whole schedule with somebody else and try to work with their schedule as well, and it just becomes a challenge. But yeah, man, that's definitely a different direction that life can take us in. And um I would say this, man, in regards to the show, brother, I cannot thank you enough for joining me. Like, I think that we got to do this more often, definitely do some lives. And
Got another topic I wanted to
yeah, go
beat
ahead,
down
let's go
on
ahead.
too.
We don't gotta shut it down just yet. Go ahead. Go
Are
ahead.
you sure? You sure?
Yeah,
You
100%.
ready?
Yeah,
You was ready to get
100%.
off. We could
No, hey,
clip it
brother,
up
it's
later.
it's 11:30 on my end, man. So I know you got 3 hours ahead of me. So go ahead. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's 2:30 right now. My next topic. I'm gonna just say it, and so you can know for the next video, because we are gonna be on for a long time talking about this one. My next topic is, how do you feel about females in the workforce? Do you feel like we benefit from females in the workforce? Do you feel like they should go back to not being females in the workforce? Do you feel like it's certain jobs that specifically for females? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's your take on that? What's your thoughts on that?
Um, I would say this. I would say that do females belong in the workforce? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's their option. You know what I mean? I think they should have the choice of whether or not they want to go build a career, and I think they should always have that option. I don't think the mom and Claude days of just or the mom and Claude days of just staying at home and being a housewife. Now, do I think this? Like, if I'm in a situation, what I mean, where I'm married and there's kids, like, would I prefer my wife to be able to stay at home and raise the kids? Yeah, 100% I would. Just because I think that gives you a lot more of an advantage of your wife being able to teach the kids. You're also saving money on daycare. That's for damn sure. But you're also at a point where you have a parent that's a consistent raising them. You know what I mean, and kind of putting them in a position to learn and development through what you see as a parent's eyes. And that's me for like a married home, or like if you're with your significant other and you guys have kids together living in the same home. Now, as far as a woman goes to go earn her own money and her own career, yeah, absolutely. I think that everybody should have the right to be able to earn. I don't think you should take that away. Now, do I think that there are certain jobs that women are maybe more geared towards to do? Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think there's more jobs that men are more geared to do, right? And that's just not saying that either, you know, sex can't do either of the jobs, but I think there's just more jobs that are geared more towards women, and there's more jobs that are geared more towards men, right? So you have the difference in society in that, or the difference in society with that. And
What jobs are geared towards women?
oh, boy, you're gonna put me in a hot spot there for that.
That's what I'm
Um,
saying. We could talk a long time about this, man.
no,
Cause
I mean, I would say this. I mean,
man,
are there jobs that women, I would say, that you feel more comfortable with, like
I
as a,
personally, women, man, women fuck the workforce up.
you think so? I wouldn't say that
Where women
because I've
at
worked with a
is
lot of
chaos.
intelligent women. I can see where you're going with that. I mean, but I think that it's up to you as a male to have discipline. You know what I mean? And like, if you want to go down the route of like, can women in the workforce cause distraction if you have a beautiful woman? Like, yeah, sure. Like,
No, I'm saying, in the biggest agencies or the biggest companies or whatever, where you absolutely need help with, like for example, it don't matter what you do for yourself, you still have to deal with the IRS, right?
of course.
A woman working in the IRS does not benefit you at all. No way, shape, form, or fashion.
I mean, I try not to deal with the IRS like that, but yeah, I try not to deal with them. Period.
A woman
But
working in welfare does not benefit society in no way, shape, form, or fashion. A woman working for unemployment does not benefit the world in no way, shape, form, or fashion.
I would beg to differ. So let's start here. So if you're going to say women don't belong working in like the IRS or the welfare department, I would say, what's the reason why? Like, do you feel that they're going to be more along the lines of they're going to be biased, or is it along the lines to where that, like, for me, I'm more thinking like if you're going towards the fact of a distraction, like, if you got a woman walking in with a a very nice set of breasts, and you know what I mean, and a
No,
big
no, no. I'm
ass,
not saying like a
that could be
distraction at all.
that type of
I'm not
distraction is more
saying
your
like as far as a
discipline.
distraction. I'm saying as far as like men, we think with our logic. Women, they think with their emotions. When you walk into these places, the half of them ain't even doing their job. They just talking on their phones, talking to each other. It's a million people in this line waiting. All over the world, people have complaints about these agencies. Who works there? Who's the most of the employees are women.
Every
They're
person I've
not
talked
doing
to,
the jobs.
every
When you
person I've
get up
talked
in
to
the
at the
morning and call
IRS.
unemployment, you have a really hard time because there are women that's not trying to do their job. Men get you in and out the door. With
Mm,
men, they actually help you get the job done. Because
I don't know if I
for
would
example, me for example,
categorize it
right?
as that.
Me for example, right? So I got custody of my kids. I have the court orders to prove it. I have the documents from school all over. I got everything you need to see. My kid's mother, she doesn't work, right? So at the beginning of the year, not even in February, when you get your W-2 form, she don't get W-2 form. She just going to just claim some kids, right? So she claims my kids, right? This is just one incident. So I got a couple I could tell you. It's the reason why I believe women don't belong in these agencies. So I go through the whole process or whatever. They ask me for more and more information, more and more information. It's going for months. So I finally speak to somebody. They like, look, we're gonna sign you up for an advocate. Give me the number. I get the advocate. So before we even end the process, I say, can you possibly make sure that my caseworker is a male and that he's from America? I have a hard time, with the
Oh,
with the foreigners over the phone and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I just requested that.
so
I don't know whether.
so you're
So
tailoring that based off of personal experience, right? So that's personal experience.
not only mine, not only mine, not only
I
mine,
would
brother.
say I'd say you'd have to probably get a little bit more data in regards to running the consensus on like what people's experience were. Like I can tell you, every time I've had to call the IRS, it's been a dude that I've talked to. I've never talked to a female at the IRS. If I ever had to deal with unemployment, I mean, I never really had to pick up the phone to call unemployment, maybe once or twice when I wasn't working at some stage of my life. But I think that if it's a personal preference, you know what I mean, then that's one thing. But I think when you look at the overall range of data, you know what I mean, to say that like women don't belong in a welfare office, I here's where I beg to differ. I think that you're going to have a woman that's going to be more relatable and have more empathy towards a woman in a bad situation. But I also think you may have a strong woman that's going to be in there and be like, yeah, like you're going to be cut the fuck off here in 2 years. So you need to figure life out like quickly. Now, I think it's more of a matter of the person that you have.
Shut up.
I think it's a matter. I think it's a matter of the person that you have in there, right? So I mean, if you're dealing with the IRS, like if you got some IRS issues, like personally, you shouldn't even be calling the fucking IRS. If there are issues that you are dealing with, you definitely better go fucking hire someone to deal with that because there's going to be a lot of shit that's going on that you may not fucking know about, and you can be very knowledgeable in a lot of other subjects, but like if you don't know tax codes or anything like that, like, you know, there's a reason why rich people stay rich because they understand how to fucking beat tax codes and fucking loopholes. That's why rich people stay rich. But as far as like like if a woman can do it, like I personally don't give a fuck with if you what you are. Like if you can get the fucking job done, get the fucking job done. I don't give a flying fuck. Like I'm about how the fuck do we get to the finish line and how are we getting there effectively? So if I've had a bad experience,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point.
Well, if I've
In
had a
these
bad experience with
agencies,
women,
it wasn't these eight all over the world. Like it's not just right here in Jersey. Like, all over the world, everybody's having an issue with unemployment, fucking IRS. You know what I'm saying? These major buildings where you have to operate like this. You know what I mean? These all these places are
well,
similar.
what
Fucking Section 8. All these places are similar. When you go into these buildings, most of the people are women, and they're
sure.
all ran fuck, and that's because of the service. That nobody actually wants to do their job.
So you're saying that it's
Anywhere that
bad
you ever
service that
worked
you've
at,
received.
anywhere that you ever worked at that was predominantly men, 9 times out of 10, I mean, unless they was fucking alcoholics or something on the job, men that come to work. You know
Well,
what I mean?
yeah,
We
I mean
talking, but we
that's
working. Like, you
sure.
know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying? Women
I'll
talk
give you a
and they
prime
just
example of
talk.
that. I'll give you a prime example.
Talk,
So
play on their phones,
no, I'll give you a prime
give
example.
you
So
bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Cause they mad that they signed a job application, it's their job, and then they mad that they gotta deal with it. Like, come on, man.
well, I think that I mean that can be anybody. Like I mean, you know, there's times where you know you work in an industry, and I think just dealing with people alone, that's kind of a whole different subject, right? But I would say this, like I'll give you an example. Like I came from kind of a, you know, before the company I work for now, and I still kind of do work for this company and I do part-time work for them, but which was a fuel company, right? So this is more of a roughneck type of deal, you know what I mean? Like, and even working at another company, like most of the women had administrative jobs, you know what I mean? You didn't see too many women in the field. We had like maybe one or two. But yeah, I mean, when it comes time to go working, you know, 14, 16 hours, you may not see a lot of women that want to do that. You know what I mean? In a field type of position, you know, are there women out there that are capable of doing it? Yeah, 100%. You know, I don't take that away. I think when you start getting into like what a certain, you know, I mean, okay, here let's look at nurses for instance, right? Do you prefer the male nurse or a female nurse?
Now this is where I say that it's some jobs, there are some jobs where I feel like a woman is necessary. I don't believe no fucking body prefers a male nurse over a female nurse. However, I would argue that the best doctors are males.
Mm, depends on what part of the field you're talking about, because there's some leading surgeons that are actually females, but
Right? Yeah, of course, of
um,
course.
but
The
I would
same way there is some sous chefs that or lead chefs that's women, but the best chefs are males. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that it's certain, even in entertainment. In entertainment, I believe that's definitely a spot for women. Massage therapy, definitely a spot for women. And everyday life shit where you have to deal with people, I don't believe women should be crossing guards, none of that. You have to deal with people. I don't believe women should be
so
drivers.
you
Definitely not
think women
drivers.
so you think you think women should not deal with the public?
No, no. The
I mean, I'd
public,
say
to
it's a
deal with
bit
the public, you
misogynistic,
have
but
to
yeah.
have logic, not emotion. Women think with emotions. We think with our logic.
Yeah, but I also think it's about life at times is learning how to understand your emotions and control them. And now I don't think it's just women that don't understand it either. I think a lot of adults don't understand emotion and understand how to control them. And I mean, I can go into a whole
That's
dive
true.
on emotions, you know what I mean, in regards
That's true.
to the human brain and how they understand emotions and how long they last. Like an emotion, to be honest with you, it literally lasts less than 6 seconds because it's a quick feeling. It's a basically like where your brain is recognizing a situation, but like that emotion technically goes away in roughly about 6 seconds. And so I think it's more along the lines of, you know, kind of understanding how to control those emotions and dealing with those things. But I would say this from like an experience level, right? Like when you start thinking about things that you've had experiences with, whether it be in an IRS office, a public works office, whatever it may be, and you're like, hey, all of my experiences that I've had with women have been absolutely horrible. Yeah, man, that's a bad draw, you know what I mean? And sometimes I don't know, but I mean, I will tell you this, like when you look at like a lot of call center jobs or a lot of jobs where people are on the phones, that's a lot of women. You're going to have a lot more women in those
Exactly.
positions.
A lazy person's job where they can sit and answer a phone or sit at a desk.
I do it all
I
day.
of course, there are
I do it
gonna
all
be
day.
those. You know what I'm saying? Most women are gonna take those jobs. They're not going to fucking go and work at the factory. Most of them not anyway. Some of them are, especially like the Spanish. They go and work at the factories. Not all of them though. Majority of women are gonna go get those jobs where they sitting at a desk.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
And
don't
those
get me
jobs,
wrong.
okay, for example, right? For example, because you kind of summarized it, and you said I don't believe that women do well work with the public, right? Okay, it's statistically proven that males, the father makes for the better parent. That's statistics. That's dealing with a person, a young person that doesn't know how to deal with his own emotions. If the male is more adept at being the parent than the mother, why wouldn't we be more adept at dealing with the public than the woman?
I'm sorry, one more time was the last part of that question? In regards to men being better
I'm saying
parents or
it's statistically proven. You could Google it, whatever. It's statistics on that is that the male, the man, is the better parent than the mother.
mm,
And you could Google it, whatever. And that we
I
talking
mean,
about a
well there
little person, a little person that's not aware of his own emotions. Little kids lash out, kids do. And if we're the most suited to deal with the little person, why wouldn't we be more suited to deal with the public than the woman?
for a lot of reasons. Because I'll help you with that because women are more keen to show empathy. And when you're dealing with any type of service level job or you're dealing with any type of public, you have to be able to show empathy. Women are going to be more compassionate towards certain situations, where you may have a male that's going to be a little bit more direct. And, you know, like I notice myself, like when I work with, customers or clients, whatever it may be, there's a lot of times where I'm going to have you hold yourself accountable. You know what I mean? I'm going to be direct with you. You know what I mean? You're telling me why you can't either pay a bill or you're telling me like why this is not getting done or etc. Like I'm going to hold you accountable. You know what I mean? That's just who I am as a male because I expect a certain
That's the best
level.
role. That's the best role for the job. I don't need your
Not all the
empathy.
times, but you're saying that from a male's perspective though, because there's not just going to be males that are calling these places. So you're thinking from a single mind perspective of just the male having to pick up the phone and make this phone call. But a lot of times, what do we do as males? You want to know what happens in most households? My wife handles all the bills. I can't tell you one fucking thing about what happens in the house. I go make the money, she pays all the bills. So who do you think's picking up the phone to call these utility companies or that are calling these customer service companies?
well, I am. But I don't.
Well,
I
you're
mean, it teaches
doing
his
that.
own.
Right, but what I'm saying, you're doing that from a single perspective, right? From a single man or a single dad household, which I get you, right? Because I'm the one that has to make those phone calls myself, right? I got to pick up the phone, call somebody if I don't have, if I got to schedule an appointment or whatever it may be. I have to make those phone calls from my household. But do
Yeah.
not get it twisted for one single bit because I'm willing to bet a good number, and I mean a very good number. The fact is that if you had a wife in your house and I had a wife in my house, that I have a very strong feeling and would be willing to bet a good number on this and check back in with you in 10 years if you do and when have a wife in the house, is that, honey, make sure the bills are paid. I'm going to go make the fucking money.
Well, I'm not married, but I pretty much do got a wife in the house. But you know,
Right. But when it comes time to setting up the electricity bill, or when it comes time to setting up, etc., honey, you go do that. I have to go to work, or I have to go do X, Y, and Z, right? Like those conversations don't get had, or do you put it all off on yourself?
so my situation, she in school,
Right. That's fine. You work.
yeah. So not only that, but I'm always savvy myself. So when I need the help, especially like as far as like the Wi-Fi bill, I'm up like, here, like do this for me, because like she just go right through her phone. But the PSC&G and every, I mean, like the energy, I mean, I'll just go do that shit myself.
Right. I feel you. I
You
mean,
know, I don't usually rely
however,
on
do
no
you
help
feel
for
that
that type of stuff.
it's not relying on that person, but do you feel that your situation or the things that you need to do throughout your day get a little bit lighter when you have that help and support of a partner that's going to say, yeah, don't worry about it. Just give me the account. Now, also keep in mind, we're speaking from individual experience. I'm speaking as the masses, right? To where that, like, if you have an ideal couple household that is raising a family or raising kids, like, I will tell you right now, majority, especially from hands-on experience and talking to a ungodly amount of people in life on the phone or in person in my career, I can tell you right now, the majority is the female that is handling it. And the female may even be making the phone call and sending it up the account in husband's name, right? I do see that a lot. So setting it up in the husband's name, and I'll tell you that's for multiple reasons. But when that happens, it's still the wife making the phone call. It's still the wife figuring out why is this here, or why was this not
Yeah,
paid,
yeah, yeah. I can
etc. Right?
understand that.
So you still have a woman running your household, right? So because you want to know, one of the most common things that I do fucking see is older people, right? When the wife dies that handled all the fucking bills, and your 70-year-old ass is trying to figure out who the fucking call to pay the electrical bill because you haven't fucking had to deal with this shit in 30 fucking years, like, you'll see how quickly it gets challenging. Like, in the first words out of your mouth were, yeah, my wife did all this for me. Now you're in trouble. No, but what I'm saying is, I mean, back to the subject of, are there women that can do certain jobs and men that can do certain jobs? I think it depends on the job. I really do. I don't think from a service level, if you're saying like from a service level, I think you're going to have more empathy out of women. I think you're going to have more compassion. And I think that's going to get you higher customer service levels. And I think when that happens, that's what a company is looking for in regards to somebody that deals with service. Like, how is your service level? And that's what I care about. You know what I mean? And when you look at, like, from a situation of like dealing with like any type of office of like public affairs, I don't give a flying fuck who you talk to. It's never been a good experience, male or female. And sometimes in California, you may not be sure what the fuck it is, but it's more along the lines of, again, I don't give two flying fucks about your male, female, or whatever. If I'm calling you for service or a question or whatever, then I'm calling you looking for your fucking help. I don't care if you fucking can write your name in the snow or you pee sitting down. Does not fucking matter to me. But I understand your point. Yeah, I agree. I think there are certain jobs in the world that like women are going to thrive a little bit more than men, and I think there's going to be jobs where men thrive a little bit more than women. But I really just think it's the matter of the individual, and I think it also matters on what the job is. Again, being in the fuel company, I'm not going to go see a woman jump on a fucking fuel truck for 16, 18 hours like I've seen men do. I just don't see that happening, because we've had female drivers.
You're probably not going to see that.
No, we've had female drivers, and they didn't last very long, because when you're touching fuel, you're touching oil, you're touching dirt,
they went to
all
go
this
fuck
other
somebody
shit.
case where they went to go fuck up somebody case at welfare.
No, I've seen a lot of men do that too
They
out
went
here,
to go
man.
work at Section 8 and make somebody lose their whole fucking apartment.
Well, then I will flip the script on you from more of a conservative perspective, right? Is why I mean, if you need those programs, you need them, but if the end goal isn't to work on getting the fuck out of those programs so you don't have to deal with those people anymore, then you're your own victim.
No, I'm speaking from a society standpoint. Society altogether. Like not even me. Like not even me per se. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I gave you an IRS
Oh,
story. You know what I mean?
I'm saying that
But
I'm saying that
I
from
know
a
in
general perspective.
society, period. You know what I mean? It's a reason why these agencies are looked down on. And who is the majority of the person working it? You know what I'm saying? And like on a day-to-day basis, man, like come on a day-to-day basis, man, I work at a Prudential Center. I see a lot. I see how the men work. I see how the women work. I work at a lot of different restaurants. Uh, I mean, from Baltimore to Jersey. I see how the men work. I see how the women work. Men
I
are
think
working. Women
I've
are
seen
on
some
their
lazy
phones.
fucking.
Like, you
I've
know
seen
what I'm
some lazy
saying?
fucks as men before. Trust me, I've seen lazy
Yeah,
fucks
yeah,
as
of
men.
course. I'm saying majority though. I've seen some lazy fucks as men though.
Yeah,
I've definitely seen most of the lazy fucks as men. They come to work and either don't do shit or they come to work, get a check, and don't come back.
yeah. I mean, that's just the individual,
You know
though.
what I'm
That's
saying?
just who you are as your character and who you are as a person. But yeah, man, I
On
totally
the
get you. We're gonna have to come back to this one though.
on a scale of like you were saying something about compassion. I work at the Prudential Center. We serve over 100,000 people. A lot. I barely ever seen a male cashier, a male cook, a male usher, any of that get into an argument. It's always the woman.
Mm, I've
This is
seen
not
two
a
dudes fight.
coincidence, bro.
I've seen two dudes fight in the warehouse. I've seen, because when I look at the other side of it, I've seen testosterone really carry its weight, and I've seen, dudes fucking be at each other's throats, ready to fucking fight, and I've actually seen dudes fight. You know what I mean? So it's not, and then you have females looking at it like, yeah, well, that's just dudes for you. That's fucking testosterone for you. You know what I mean? You put all that testosterone in a room, that's what's going to happen. And sometimes I think honestly, for any career, any
Oh nah,
position.
come on, man. You can't say that. It ain't no such show called the Bad Boys Club. It was a show called the Bad Girls Club for a reason, brother.
Yeah, no, I get that. I
Cause
mean,
they gonna
that's
fight. They got crazy attitude. You put a bunch of
okay.
males in one room, bro. We
What
probably gonna
about
talk about sports.
okay? What about old boy, the turtle looking dude, Aaron the plumber? You didn't see this dude on all
He
the.
one dude though, out of a big majority of men. And look how many men do them like them pop the balloons and all that.
Oh, that shit's just
They don't
terrible.
all get into fights. It's him. Come on.
Yeah, well, he's a special character, but
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah, no. So here's the deal. We will definitely come back to this, man. I'm gonna actually have to shut it down because I do got to work early in the morning. But brother, I definitely want to again thank you so much for taking time out of your night and just jumping on here, man. And it has absolutely been a great time, and I'm glad we were able to kind of just shoot the wind and just kind of talk about some interesting topics to say the least. But I will say in regards to um, again, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm really proud of all of the things that you're doing on your podcast. I think, the content that you're putting out is genuine. It's heartfelt. It's directly, very real and very raw, man. And I think that's what's going to, kind of get your audience and keep them coming. And I think it's only opportunity to grow. And definitely, I would recommend you guys go check out his podcast. The podcast is called the No Patience Podcast. We can find that on
Nice,
YouTube.
man.
Are we also on Spotify as well? Mainly YouTube right now.
Oh shit. Not Spotify yet, just YouTube. I mean, you can
Just
check me out on
YouTube. Okay.
Instagram. I mean, a couple of places got shorts all over
Abs-
TikTok and all that stuff like that.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well, this is Dante with episode 7,
stay scheming,
Life in All
man. Stay scheming.
Directions. Stay scheming joining us this evening.
Check us out,
Um,
man.
and if you felt this very heartfelt conversation, this heated debate in regards to some very interesting topics, please drop a comment. We would love to hear from you. State your opinion, positive, negative, whether it's one eyes or 1,000 eyes. I'm thankful for every single one of you. And as always, remember this: life isn't just about one lane. It's about growth. It's about balance. It's about paths that take us all in different directions. Take care. Cheers. We'll see you on the next one.
No patience.